Alright, welcome back to Let's Read Higurashi. I am like 80% healthy now. Yeah, I was really sick last week and I still recorded, which probably wasn't a good idea, but at least you got videos. And again, it wasn't like painful, it was just annoying. But it like got worse for a couple of days. Not my nose, but my throat was like killing me and I was coughing, so I just couldn't record. Or else I would have had a Doki Doki episode out, but whatever. So I'm better though. Pretty much better anyways. So last time it's kind of blurry. Keiichi went to school to get his bat, but he couldn't get into the shed, so he just took one out of somebody's locker, which and he's acting very defensive now, you know. We already seen that he kind of steeled his will to protect himself from this town because he's convinced that the friend group is actually trying to kill him. And we had this weird scene with Rena where her voice changed, which seemed to be like a younger version of Rena, and she was saying that Satoshi, which was Hojo's or Sadako's brother, was doing the same thing before he disappeared, or following like the same actions that Keiichi is currently doing, which is weird. And then she transformed back to Spooky Rena and left, which was weird. Oh yeah, also Keiichi almost got hit by a truck. I still don't think, like, Keiichi said that the truck was trying to hit him, but I actually don't think the truck was trying to hit him because Keiichi said he heard honking, which means the truck was warning Keiichi about like coming close to crashing him. So I think the truck was just like, it was an honest mistake. And like he said the truck was following him, but I think he's really like paranoid right now. But there definitely is something going weird here. I've been kind of thinking about new theories and stuff. I do have some juicy ones, but I want to save those for the theory video, which will be out after I finish the novel, just because, you know, I wanna see the rest of the story and see if it either confirms or denies some of the theories I have. But I have kind of been thinking about, because I've been saying that everyone's been mind controlled, but I've been thinking about what if they haven't been, and there are some legitimately evil people, like Mion. I think Mion might legitimately be an evil person. And if it is that way, I think Rena might just have some weird personality disorder thing, because again, last episode she did seem to transform into like a weird, it's like another Rena mode, right? Because her voice was really like, I actually didn't chat because, you know, I was sick and I didn't really want to do anything, but it seemed that her voice turned like higher pitch, so it sounded like she was younger perhaps. Sorry that I'm playing with an elastic band. Um, but yeah, I do have some reasons why I think Mion could actually legitimately be evil that I haven't really talked about, but I think that might be better for the theory video, and I don't think they're gonna go into it too much this episode, because again, next volume's gonna be the Mion episode, so that would definitely confirm or deny my suspicions about her. But yeah, and I still don't think Rika and Sadako are evil. Especially Sadako. I think Sadako is like 100% innocent. I mean, she might have done something, but I don't think she murdered or was involved willingly in the disappearance / killing of her family members. Rika, I've been saying that she's super smart. Like, I think last episode too, she also noticed first that Keiichi had Satoshi's bat. So I think she definitely knows something, but she hasn't been acting evil, so I'm just trying to give her the benefit of the doubt that she might know what's going on, but she's not really evil, and she just can't really do anything about it, because, again, she's like a tiny kid. But we'll see. Anyways, let's get this started. This was right after Rena left, after talking about the connection between Satoshi and Keiichi. Satoshi and I had what? All my well-planned actions throughout the day turned out to have been nothing more than a reenactment of what Satoshi had done. Satoshi, had he really been in the same situation as I was now? The friends he had gotten along with had changed suddenly, and for no reason, at least none that I had noticed, planned to kill him. Then, fearing for his life as I am, he got a bat to protect himself and carried it around every day to practice his swing. And then one day, suddenly, he transferred. My blood went cold, causing a prickling sensation to course through my veins. Staring near my heart, it radiated outward, from the top of my head to the soles of my feet, chilling every part of me, without recourse. What did she mean by transfer? What did she mean by transfer? Was Satoshi still at wherever he transferred to? Was he the only one who would be able to understand me? Would he be able to tell me why it all ended up like this? More importantly, why did he transfer to? Where did he transfer to? What did she mean by transfer? What did she mean by transfer? Before I knew it, I was at my front door. The frigid knob was hard to turn. Was nobody home? It wasn't that odd of an occurrence. I reached into my pocket and pulled out a single key attached to my fur seal keychain. I stepped into that entryway. Just as I was about to take off my shoes, a chill ran down my spine. Uh-oh. Someone had entered right behind me. What? Like a classmate messing around, standing right up against my back. You're kidding, right? It had to be my imagination. Logically speaking, it was impossible for someone to be able to hide their presence within my personal space all the way through the door. But there was undoubtedly someone behind me. Hey now, Keiichi. How do you know that how do you know they're there, even though they're behind you? Because I could hear the sound of flowing hair. There's no other reason. I hear that sound. That was the presence. Because I could hear the sound of them blinking. Keiichi, my bro, there's no way you could hear that. My most base instincts were warning me of the presence. Common sense was telling me that it was just my imagination. It was just my imagination. If it was just my imagination, there's nobody behind me. I began to erase the mental image of an eerie figure standing behind me. But at the same time, I asked myself, if there's nobody, then what was I feeling as an uncomfortable sensation crawled up my spine? Actually, wouldn't it be better if there was somebody there? If there was nobody there when you turned around, would you be able to accept that? I'd be able to answer all those questions just by looking behind me. But I didn't have enough courage to even do that simple task. Alright, I could try speaking with them. The person behind me might answer. It was a random thought. I didn't care how I went about it, just so long as I didn't have to turn around. If I had calmed down and thought about it, I would have known that. Wouldn't have solved anything. That's so loud. I spoke in such a hoarse, broken voice that I couldn't believe it was my own. I could almost feel them contemplating their response. I felt it. There's no way I should be able to do that. Calm down, Keiichi. It's all in your head. That time, I was certain I heard it. As if hesitantly trying to answer my inquiry, I was certain I could hear the sound of somebody inhaling. I heard it. I heard it. I heard it clearly. It was a girl. A young girl. I didn't know who, but a tiny speck of courage in me, however reckless it was, inspired by a primal yet fitting solution to this current predicament, a scream. All the force in my body released from my lungs and through my throat, ceasing all thought processes in my head. Suppressing all my thoughts and emotions, I began to collapse like a house of cards, somehow managing to twist my body and look back as I did so. It was definitely there. Right there. Somebody was there. Until the moment I turned around, until I brought the area behind me into my field of vision, they were definitely there. Falling face up, my eyes traced the remnants of the presence suspended in the empty space. It couldn't be. They were invisible? They looked like they weren't there, but they were actually standing there? As I screamed, all my emotions I was holding back burst free into a violent wave. However, I was decidedly calm as my emotional dam collapsed. The turbulent wave of pent-up emotions was skillfully diverted into a torrent of aggression. That emotion was definitely required to extricate myself from the bizarre situation happening right in front of me. In my state of heightened lucidity, I entrust my body to the fury. The metal bat held firm in my right hand, as if drawn there by a magnet. A mid-level sweep would be the hardest attack to dodge. I remembered reading something like that from a book about swordsmanship or something. Oh, please don't be someone. I brandished my will to fight. Then the after image of the amalgamation of metal flashed as it swung from left to right, beating against the entryway. Okay. The bat slammed into the right wall. The tip rebounded violently. Very calmly, I transferred the force of the rebound into a sweep to the left. The door of the shoe cupboard was split into pieces. Those two swings whipped through the empty space. Train! But they seemed to have a great psychological impact on the enemy. I could feel the panic emanating from that space. The attack wasn't the only thing required. I extracted the bat from the cupboard it was embedded in and screamed as I spun my entire body around in a large arc. Oh my god. My scream shook the air, imbuing my ferocious swing with even more destructive power. Crack. Without mercy or restraint, my violent strike was certainly fatal force behind it, shattered at the top of the cupboard. None of my attacks struck the enemy, but my ferocity had certainly seemed to impact them. Breathing heavily, my entire body soaked in sweat, the invisible enemy, there, but not there, dispersed. When I was certain that the enemy had retreated, I locked the front door and latched the chain. No way. Had it only feigned retreat, and was now inside my house? Once again, I channeled my aggression and searched the house for the presence, but it was gone. I had succeeded in fending it off. At that moment, the tension drained from my body, and I let out a deep sigh of relief. All of the emotions I had been holding back chaotically merged together and began flooding out. A hodgepodge of fear, accomplishment, and disbelief all mixed together and began to flow through my body. Unable to deal with each individual feeling, I beat them all back with the strongest exhaustion. Even in this moment, I remained composed. After checking that all the doors throughout the house were locked, I went up to my room on the second floor and closed the curtains. I straightened my back and tilted my head back a little. After clearing my mind of all idle thoughts, I managed to calm down even more. What was that at the front of my door? There was definitely something there. Thinking about it, maybe it was just an apparition I dreamt up in my confused state, but I really didn't think that was the case. Calm down, Kichi, my bro. Compose yourself. But no matter how calmly I thought about it, what just happened wasn't a figment of my imagination. It was obviously a supernatural phenomenon, and without a doubt, something was behind me. It wasn't some sort of illusion I saw amidst my confusion and disorientation. Proof? I had just one piece. When I asked who is it, they inhaled as if they were going to answer. That sound had clearly reached my ears. The situation I was in right now was still unclear. Either I had been possessed by the supernatural phenomenon known as Oyashiro-sama's curse, Or this was a ruse by the villagers who believed in it and were imitating it. Either way, their motives were unclear. The roundabout way it had been done was also still a mystery. If it was perpetrated by humans, that would mean admitting that it was Rena and the rest of them doing it, but it would be solvable. Ooishi-san and the rest of the police would surely arrest my enemy. But if it was a manifestation of Oyashiro-sama's curse, I wondered what would happen. Ooishi-san very clearly declared that curses didn't exist. At that time, those words were pretty dependable, but as things were now, with the rising possibility that the perpetrators were not human, he suddenly seemed quite unreliable. If I told Ooishi-san that this was the work of Oyashiro-sama's curse, what would happen? I couldn't imagine his reaction, but it would go without question that a void would expand rapidly between myself and Ooishi-san. With me having so few allies to begin with, and not being able to confidently declare whether or not this was a curse, there's no merit to doing that. I'd better keep the facts of what just happened at the doorway to myself. It would be better if I didn't add what happened here to the memo behind the clock. There's still the ever so slight possibility that I was actually confused when I thought I was composed and was just going berserk in the entryway. How wonderful would that be if that was really what happened? I would be able to refute Oyashiro-sama's curse, but if I denied Oyashiro-sama's curse, then that would mean admitting that Rena and the rest were the perpetrators. If I said that Rena and the rest weren't the perpetrators, then that would mean believing in Oyashiro-sama's curse. But not by denying both of those, I would be admitting that I myself was losing it. The three options from which I couldn't choose became a trilemma of sorts. They mixed together and formed a whirlpool in my mind, making my head spin. Once again, I straightened myself and leaned my head back slightly to cool myself down. Calm down, Keiichi. Accept what has actually happened as reality. Stop thinking of anything more than that. But I couldn't help but think of it. How wonderful it would be if it turned out I was delirious and everything up until now was a figment of my imagination. Oyashiro-sama's curse wouldn't exist and I would still be best buddies with Rena and the rest. I would have to be crazy. That was the first time in my life I'd ever wished for such a thing. Chapter break? Telephone. I do have some comments on that, but I'll leave it to the end. The phone rang noisily downstairs. Generally, there were no calls from me, so I never really answered the phone much. I love this song, by the way. We heard it a lot of times, but it's always a nice, somber sound. But since my parents weren't here, I had no choice. I stormed off the bed and went downstairs. It's probably Ooishi-san, if I have to guess.
前原です。
ケイチ、お母さんだけど。
Oh, never mind. I intuitively had a bad feeling about this. It was because I thought she was going to ask me to go out and buy something, so I took the initiative.
何？別に俺、夕食はインスタントでもいいよ。まだいっぱいあったでしょ。
The other day, we went out as a family and bought a whole case of cup noodles. I wanted to get a bunch of different kinds, actually, but they refused since the individual packs were expensive. So instead, I got a whole case of the mega-sized pork bone and ginger flavored ones I liked. But my parents don't like strong flavors and didn't touch any of them, so the cupboards were still full of them.
だからさ、買い物に行く必要はないんじゃないの？
ケイチ、買い物のお願いじゃないの。お父さんとお母さんね。お仕事の関係で急遽東京に行かなくちゃならなくなったの。
That's such bad timing.
え？今から？
That's actually terrible timing. What? This was really abrupt.
もう着いちゃってるの。
You didn't leave a note or something? What?
お昼には出発してたからね。
It's quite a distance to Tokyo from Hinamizawa. Gunning at full speed down the highway would still take about 6 hours. Dad has a license, but since he doesn't like the highway, they likely took the train. it would have taken longer.
圭一もお父さんとお母さんの話を聞いてたからわかるかもしれないけど、
Right.
お父さんのお仕事の契約がね、今ちょっとうまくいってないの。
Kind of forgot about that, honestly. Now that she mentioned it, I did remember that they that they talked all that time, but how his job prospects weren't looking so
お
good.
父さんはそういうのに繊細な人だから、このままだとお仕事にも影響が出ちゃうの。
Pardon my father's particular fragile artistic personality. His emotions changed as easily as the fall sky. You could also say he couldn't take criticism.
でもそんなの電話でやり取りすればいいじゃないか。
圭一、お父さんのお仕事なんだから、もうちょっと応援してあげて。ね、とにかく電話よりも直接会って話した方が早いの。誤解もないし。
As their son, there's nothing more I could say once they started talking about work.
だから帰るのは明日の晩になっちゃうの。圭一、一人で大丈夫よね。
別に死にゃしないよ。
Don't say that.
圭一、死んじゃうなんて軽々しく言っちゃダメよ。心配事があったら相談してね。母さん、きっと相談に乗れると思うから。
Yesterday I did bring up if I died rather abruptly, so I suppose they were a little worried. But really, I was more depressed by the fact that nothing would be solved by telling them. But I didn't plan on dying. At least not while I still knew nothing. I would never allow it.
死なないよ。俺はあがいてでも生き延びる。
そう。じゃあね。明日の朝、ちゃんと起きるのよ。
That's
朝ごはんは食べてね。
so much
お風
foreshadowing.
呂と歯磨きも忘れないのよ。
へいへい。そんじゃ。
The call ended like that. Sometimes my parents went off to Tokyo for business meetings, but Tokyo was far away. They normally did things by phone. The times they did go were normally planned out in advance. It never happened this suddenly. I couldn't say that those circumstances didn't feel strange, or rather, unnatural. Anyway, I only needed to recognize the reality of the situation. That tonight, I was the only one in the house. That when my parents came back from work, I'd be gone, missing, vanished. Looking back on the series of events of the previous 5 years involving Oyashiro-sama's curse, it wouldn't seem that strange at all. Except they would be out of place, since it usually happens in after the Watanagashi, right? It actually kind of break the pattern if he disappeared now. Come to think of it, it was getting pretty late. I didn't think it was good that the only light on in the whole house was from my room on the second floor. It was the same as broadcasting to the enemy that my parents were gone and this was their chance. First I ran into the living room, flipped on the lights, turned on the TV, onto a reassuring volume. Next was the study. I similarly turned on the lights and some music. With this from the outside, it would look like my parents were still here. This is smart. I agree with this. Good job, Keishi. Once again, I went through the house, checking to see if there was anything left unlocked. When I saw the veranda and the laundry still hanging out there, I went pale. That would have made it too obvious. I need to take them down. I snatched on the laundry haphazardly and erased all traces that my mother wasn't there. It should be fine now. Ah! The garage. They hadn't gone all the way to Tokyo by car, but they had gone up to Okinomiya Station. The garage was empty, wide open, and in plain sight. This was no good. I panicked and rushed out the back to close the normally open garage door. It should be fine now. I need to get the paper. Mom always got the paper. Since I left in the afternoon, the evening paper was still out there. No. My premonition was correct. I agree with all this, though. This is really smart by Keiichi to make everything seem locked down and active in the house. I pulled out everything from the mailbox and dropped it in the entryway. With this, for sure, this time, it should be fine. Hopefully no one snuck in while he was doing all this. I mean, it'd be hard to do, but I can actually see that being the case, and someone's trying to assault him inside. since they're setting up this like perfect defense. Come to think of it, leaving the cupboards busted like that from my little freakout was kind of bad. I'll just say I tripped and fell, and the bat I was holding smashed into it. Even so, just leaving it in its current state wasn't good. I should clean it up a little before Mom got back and scolded me. I remember that there was a broom and dustpan in the closet. As I was going to get them, the phone rang once again.
もしもし、前原です。
Ooishi this time?
あら、圭一くん、
Oh, it's a villager.
お母様はいらっしゃいますかしら。
Oh no.
今ちょっといないんですけど。
You idiot, Keiichi Maibara. Don't reveal that your parents are gone. You can follow up still. Calm down and take care of it.
すぐに戻ると思います。
That wasn't a good response either. Just said they were in in the shower or something.
なら、
Oh,
結構で
I
す。
skipped that. Now they might say they'll call again, or tell her to call them when she comes back.
大した話でもありませんから。では、失礼しますわね。
The scenario I feared didn't play out, eliciting a sigh of relief. That call was fortune in more ways than one. I'd have to deal with any telephone calls coming in from my parents tonight. I was somehow able to deal with the phone call just now, but I couldn't continue to rely on such poor improvisation. I needed to make up a good story to explain that my parents were home but couldn't answer the phone at the moment. They were making tempura and couldn't step away right now. Could say that they were calling again their bosses from Tokyo and they're in an important discussion or something. That wasn't good enough. They were sick and went to bed because they weren't feeling well. Was that going to be safe enough? I was thinking about it on the way back to my room when the phone rang once again. It was like they were calling because they knew I was going to lie. I didn't want to pick up, but I knew I had to. They just suspect my parents weren't here. I should have just taken the phone off the hook under the pretense that I didn't realize it was. But since the phone rang, I had to pick it up. Is it Ooishi this time? I prepared myself and lifted up the receiver.
もしもし。
I stopped announcing this was the Maibara residence. I had no reason to be kind to someone I didn't know the identity of. But unlike my uncouth voice, the person on the other side sounded goofy and lighthearted. Okay. Here's my boy, Ooishi-san. Hello, why am I reading this?
大石さんですか。
前原さんですか。こんばんは。お元気そうで何よりです。
ちょっと待ってくださいね。
I grabbed the portable handset and rushed up to my room with it. It was the same no matter where I was, since there's no one else home, but I wanted to be in a spot that just felt a bit safer when speaking on the phone with Ooishi-san.
お待たせしました。
Maybe you should open your door, just in case someone popped spying again.
いかがですか、その後お変わりは。
Since then, when was that exactly? There was something about the brazen way he talked that rubbed me the wrong way. The last time I spoke with Ooishi-san was 2 days ago. The day I stayed home from school, I met Ooishi-san on the way back from the hospital, and we headed into town for lunch and had a talk. Then after that, Rena and Mion came to check up on me. Whenever I spoke with Ooishi-san, they always knew about it. It was like that since the first time I met him. Today's phone call may well be found out by them as well.
もしもし、聞こえてますか、前原さん。
すみません。なんて言いました？
その後、何か変わったことはありませんかとお尋ねしたんです。お返事がないんで焦りましたよ。
特には。
The words stopped in my throat. There was a ton of stuff that happened, all of it baffling. What should I talk about? I didn't understand any of it, but I should try asking. If I didn't ask now, I may never have another chance. This night, when my parents weren't home, I had no guarantees I would make it through the night safely after all.
大石さん、やっぱり俺、命を狙われているみたいです。
本当ですか。
偶然の可能性もあるんですが、先日俺が病気で休んだ日、
あの二人？
レナとミオンです。そしてそこで大石さんと一緒に昼飯を食ったことを正されました。
それで？
お見舞いってことでおはぎを置いていったんですが、その中に針が入ってたんです。偶然飲み込まずに済みましたが、これってやっぱり脅迫でしょうか？
その針は？
よく見かけるような普通の裁縫針のようでした。糸を通す穴が開いていて。
違いますよ、前原さん。証拠になります。脅迫だと立証できるかもしれません。
Surprised you're not asking about how they knew that we ate lunch together.
その針はありますか？
That's right, that's it. I actually didn't think of that too. He definitely should have kept the needle. I dropped the receiver and rushed downstairs. When I tossed the mochi, I had overlooked it out of terror, but that needle was a valuable piece of evidence. Me too. Good thinking, Ooishi. Let's see, I threw the mochi and the needle at the wall together. If it was there, then it would be in the living room wall. Well, they cleaned the wall, obviously. But my prudent mother had cleaned that living room wall, and there's not a trace of mochi left on it. Could it be that it dropped in the gap between the wall and the carpet? I frantically searched by running my palm along the carpet, but nothing turned up. I tried moving around the sofa and desks, pulling up the carpet and flapping it around, but I couldn't find the needle. Did my mom clean up everything without noticing it? It was just 2 days ago. I didn't know what day they collected the burnable trash, but it may still be in the trash bin in the kitchen. Ugh. I rushed into the kitchen, opened the lid of the pail, and poured out the contents, but even at a glance, I could tell that it would be incredibly difficult to find the needle in this pile of trash. I was looking for a needle in the trash sack. I know, I'll try running my hand through it. It was a bit gross, but I was looking for a needle. If I felt a small prick, I'll be able to find it. It was a pretty tactless method, but it was the quickest. I held my breath and started striking the pile of trash with my hand. Filth flew about. There's nothing more disgusting than this, but it was not the time to be concerned about such details. I continued on for a while, but nothing turned up. I wanted to search more thoroughly, but I was still on the phone. I shouldn't keep Ooishi-san waiting for too long. Later, when Mom got back, I'd have to ask if there was a needle. I hastily began scribbling on the notepad affixed to the refrigerator with a magnet. Was there a needle? I scrawled the words with a red pen, then dashed back upstairs where I had been keeping Ooishi-san waiting for far too long.
もしもし、どうでしたか？
見つかりません。あの時はつい気が動転していて。
そうですか。見つかればでいいんです。保管しておいてくださいね。
That's right. The needle wasn't the only incident. I had to tell him about the morning with the hit and run.
あと大石さん、それだけじゃないんです。実は今朝。
The van was definitely aiming for me. I could say that without question due to the circumstances at the time.
その車のナンバープレートは見ましたか？こちらでも探してみます。
Damn. At the time, I just flipped out yelling at him, but I didn't look at the plate. What failures on my part with the needle and the plate number. I was so focused just protecting myself that I let some of the most important details slip out of my grasp. I punched my pillow, annoyed at how worthless I was.
すみません。白いワゴン車ってこと以外はわかりません。
仕方ないことですよ、前原さん。惹かれかければ気も動転します。
やっぱりこれらって偶然じゃないですよね。
Ooishi-san started to hem and haw over the other end. I could imagine him folding his
あと、
arms.
レナの様子もやっぱり怪しいです。
それはどんな感じですか？
Well, Rena said on the way home today, asking why I was so much like Satoshi-kun. Now I could say with confidence that Rena knew what happened to Satoshi. She knew that there's more to it than him just simply
レ
disappearing.
ナは知っています。 去年の鬼隠しにあったサトシのことを何か知っています。
それは具体的にどういうことですか？
レナが言うには、俺はサトシとそっくりらしいんです。このまま行くと俺もサトシと同じ運命をたどると、そんな感じのことを言うんです。
運命ですか？具体的にどんな運命をたどるか言及しましたか？
天候と。
天候？
レナはサトシは転校したって言ってるんです。で、俺もこのままだと転校しちゃうぞって。
Ooishi-san let out a stern sigh, then grumbled loudly.
前原さん、それはおそらく何かの脅迫、もしくは警告ですね。
俺もそう思ってます。
At that point, I started to think, would it be prudent to sum up everything that had happened up until now as the machinations of some human perpetrator? Other than the theory of it being Rena and the others, I was left with Oyasho-sama's curse actually existing as the only explanation. That's not true, but we'll talk about it at the end. So, yeah. Save it for the end. Let's get through this. Of course, I couldn't tell that to Ooishi-san. Except, Rena's strange behavior could be proof of either scenarios. Whether it was Oyasho-sama's curse being real or everything being part of a conspiracy committed by all the villagers. Rena was involved. Rena had to know something. Rena was suspicious. What exactly was Rena? I couldn't help but to think she was somehow involved with the prior strings of mysterious deaths. Not all of them, obviously. I seem to recall that Ooishi-san had admitted he had dug into Rena's past a little. He was probably just downplaying it when he said a little, meaning he had actually dug pretty deep, most likely. I wanted to hear about Rena. I wanted to know what happened at her previous school, among other things that were still unknown to me. If Rena was somebody I should suspect, no, not that. I wanted to know the truth. Tonight, I was alone in this huge house. Even though I said I couldn't count on them, I had lost the security I felt had just by my parents being around. It wasn't like this house was some sort of fortress or castle. If a malicious person decided to use brute force, they'd easily gain entry. There were no other residences close to the Maibara residence. No one would be able to hear anything, no matter how loud it was. I had never felt as much resentment towards my father's artistic temperament and the fact that he had his house built in such a remote location as I did right now. What? I wondered if I would still be here tomorrow morning, so I had to ask right now, because I had no idea when the next chance would come.
大石さん、聞きたいことがあるんです。隠さないでくださいね。
何でも聞いてく
Can
だ
I
さい。
answer this doorbell? Even though he was so far away on the other end of the line, this was the most reliable he had ever felt. I wanted to ask about Rena, about what happened at her previous
実
school.
はレナの
I noticed a sound that had been going on for a while now. Since I was so focused on the call, I hadn't paid attention to it at first, but I finally realized that it was the doorbell. The time was 7 o'clock. It was past the time the postman would be making delivery, and past any sensible time for a neighbor to be visiting. I considered just acting like nobody was home, but that wouldn't be good. That would ruin all the work I had put in making it look like my parents were home. I needed to answer the door.
もしもし、前原さん？
すみません。誰か来たみたいですので。
お客さんですか。今夜のお電話はこれくらいにしましょうか。
That would be a problem.
いえ、すぐ戻りますから。電話はこのままでいいですか？
はいはい、構いませんよ。
I dropped the handset on my bed and dashed towards the door. I needed to make up a good excuse to get them to leave. I had a hunch it was the lady who called right before Ooishi-san did. I have a hunch it's Rena. In which case, it would be one of the neighbors who's friends with my mom. I'll just say mom isn't feeling well and went to bed early. That would be the easiest option. It's Rena. Calling it. It'd be hard to ask it'd be hard for her to ask me to wake up my mom if she's not feeling well. The bell continued to ring at regular intervals. If someone didn't answer after you rang the bell so much, you'd normally give up and go home, wouldn't you? Without removing the chain, I opened the door slightly and peered out at the visitor. A chill ran down my spine. I knew it. Somewhere deep inside, I had prepared for this moment. I tried to escape by imagining it was the easiest person to deal with, one of my mom's friends. It's Rena.
こんばんは。
レナ。
Yeah. There shouldn't be any reason for Rena to come over at this hour. The timing also made me feel uneasy, because it was just as I was about to ask Ooishi-san about Rena. I wish I could have chalked this up to mere coincidence, but those unsettling words from Mion several days ago echoed back to me.
さてね。おじさんにわからないことはないからね。
She's in
レ
her
ナ一人。
cool clothes.
うん。
It seemed that Mion wasn't with her, but that it didn't change the situation at all.
何しに来たんだよ。
ねえ、ケイチ君。ちゃんとドアを開けてお話ししたいな。レナは玄関に入っちゃダメなのかな
It was true that speaking through a chain door wasn't the right way to talk to a classmate,
う
but
ち夜は必ずチェーンかけてるんだよ。
she hiding something from behind her back? I don't know, it kind of makes me suspicious. Can you show that arm?
なら仕方ないかな。
Rena looked at the ground sadly, but she kept smiling at least, and her effort to keep that smile up was quite pitiful. Even though she was tugging at my heartstrings, I didn't lower my guard. As long as I stayed like this, even if I made my heart ache, my life wasn't in danger. Wait, I need to sneeze. Alright, I'm better, kind of. As long as I stayed like this, even if it made my heart ache, my life wasn't in danger. What I really feared, more than the possibility that hoodlums would assault me if I removed the chain, was trusting Rena enough to remove the chain and having my friendship betrayed. As long as the chain wasn't unlatched, even if it made my heart ache, I wouldn't have to deal with being betrayed by Rena. Since it didn't seem like I had removed the chain for her silent urging, she appeared to give up trying to get into the entryway. Can they show her left hand? Or is that her right hand? Whatever. The hand behind her back. It's making me nervous. Maybe it's food. No, I haven't eaten. Since my mom wasn't there, dinner wouldn't be ready no matter how long I waited. I laid down when I got home, was woken up by the phone, and didn't have a chance to eat since I used up all that time talking. I was going to have cup noodles in any case. I could just eat one whenever I wanted
いや
to.
まだだよ。それがどうしたよ。
Oh,
じゃあよかった。
okay, suspicion diverted. That was just making me nervous, because I don't remember there being a sprite position with one hand behind her back, but I could be wrong.
これ見て。
Mochi?
お惣菜とか持ってきてあげたの。
Rena held out a stack of boxes wrapped in cloth.
お台所とか貸してくれれば、お味噌汁も温めてあげられるよ。
いいよ、そこまでしてくれなくても。
Just pass them through the chain.
でも、お豆腐もお野菜もたっぷりなの。ケイチ君、そういうの嫌いかな。
There's no way I wouldn't like that. I love miso soup with lots of ingredients. White radish, carrots, burdock root, and potatoes, dense and fibrous root vegetables. Yeah, that miso soup looks incredible. I like plain miso soup.
ご飯も持ってきてあげたから、
Yeah.
レンジで温めればすぐ食べられるし。
Like, even if you don't suspect Rena, which I guess some people wouldn't, I don't know about Rena. She's still kind of an oddball for me. I still wouldn't let her in anyways. Just lock down until parents come is definitely the safe call. Without a doubt, rice needs miso soup. Stuffing rice down your gullet, sipping miso soup in between, ravenous bites. Oh yes, how wonderful it is to be born Japanese.
それからね、またお漬物を作ってきたんだよ。今度は山菜のお漬物なの。
Before I had moved here to Hinamizawa, I stopped at the mountain vegetable called sensai. Don't actually know what that is, but I was captivated by their charm the first time I tried them. Such a deep yet light flavor. Those so-called supermarket vegetables taste rough and overpowering in comparison. If you had to describe them, then they were the vegetables for the uninitiated. To become an expert such as myself, you first had to partake of sensai. It was common knowledge around here that Ryugu's family traditional pickles were wonderfully delicious. No matter what kind of pickles they were. They go so well with that fluffy white rice.
それからね、それからね。
But wait, there's more. So delicious, it just seems so delicious. Farewell to my unhealthy self who said he'd make do with cup noodles. Rena appeared to be in good spirits, and she was offering such a delicious-sounding dinner. The stress evaporated from my gut and hunger reared its ferocious head. At the same time, my wariness of Rena suddenly dwindled. Are you actually gonna let her in the house? If she's guilty, this is such a bait. This even seems super suspicious. Kinda. Rena did say she was alone. It shouldn't be a problem letting her inside, though the possibility that it was laced with poison still hadn't been ruled out. At that moment, a cold chill ran down my spine once again. I don't know about poison, but this just isn't a good idea after all that prep. I couldn't understand why such a sensation had occurred just then, but the voice inside me was sounding the alarm. I'm more worried about her just being in the house, not poison. This happy Rena, speaking of this charming dinner, was dependent on one premise, and that premise was that tonight dinner hadn't been made at my house, meaning that it was under the assumption that my mom, who would be making it, wasn't here. Any normal household, 7 o'clock would be around the middle of dinner time. This is true. This is true. Her bringing all these food ingredients. I mean, it could just be random, but like a friendly gesture, but actually it's more 50-50 for me. I don't know if it's suspicious yet, but I can see where he's going with this. If my mom were here, we'd be eating dinner around this time as well. Yeah, actually maybe it's more than 50-50. Maybe it's like 70-30, 70 that it's malicious. The fact that she brought all over the makings of a meal at this time was inherently strange. Unless she knew. Rena, did she know that my parents weren't home? But there's also the chance that this was a bluff. I had turned on the light and a bunch of the other stuff to make it seem like my parents were here. There's a chance that Rena was unsure if my parents were home. But I had to wonder. The laundry, the garage, the evening paper, there were plenty of signs of them being hastily tidied up. It was hard to say that Rena didn't have a chance to determine if my parents were here or not. But there's no reason for me to confess that right now. I should try holding on to the fact as long as I could. First of all, the chain was still latched. As long as it didn't take off, Rena wouldn't be able to do anything to me. I just don't let her in. Best call you can make.
ありがたいんだけどさ、もう
Yeah.
少しで夕飯ができるみたいなんだよ。
え、そうなの？そうなの？
せっかくで申し訳ないんだけどさ、
Whoa. Unable to think of a good way to refuse, my words trailed off weakly. No, this is a good claim.
でも、ちょっとはおかずになると思うな。
Why not just leave
悪い
it?
けど間に合ってるよ。
Or just leave it and we'll cook it
う
ourselves.
ちのお袋ってさ、 結構おかずをいっぱい作るんだよ。だから。
おかずあるの？
With a smile that bordered on a cringe, I dodged her question apologetically, but the feeling I tried to ignore began creeping up on my back again. I spoke as if my mom was setting down dinner right now, but it didn't mesh well with what Rena was saying. Rena was talking as if she was aware of some obvious fact, and that I was aware of as well.
ケイチ君もおかずとか作れるんだね。何を作ったのかな？
いや、別に俺が。
Rena had assumed out of nowhere that I had made the dishes. Yeah, okay, so she obviously knows that they're not there. But why? No, not so much that I had made them, but rather that my mom hadn't.
本当に作ったの？おかず。ケイチ君が？
だからおふくろが作った。いや、作ってるんだよ今。だからさ、悪いけどレナの持ってきてくれたのは食べられないんだよ。
Rena fell silent at that moment. At that moment, I felt the light had suddenly disappeared from her eyes.
ケイチ君のお夕飯当ててみようか？
なんだっていいじゃないか。
ね。
The conversation might appear natural at first glance, but Rena was firmly in control. She didn't say cup noodles with ginger and whatever. It felt like I was being interrogated.
そのお夕飯、お湯だけで作れるんじゃないかな。
おいおい、侮るなよ。うちのおふくろのスペシャルなディナーを見くびるなってんだ。そりゃもう満願全席状態ですごいのなんの。
I tried my best to put on a strong front, but I couldn't grit my teeth quite right. So instead, I looked like someone who was borderline hysterical. But Rena showed no reaction whatsoever, even to that silliness.
ケイチ君、本当にお母さん、ご飯作ってってくれたの？
いや、だからくれたんじゃなくて
Oh my
今
god.
作ってるんだよ。もうすぐ晩飯に。
You should ask her why she thinks that his mom left. I think that'd be a good question. Rena had taken the assertion of mine that my mother was home and making dinner right now, and was completely ignoring it. I could tell the more that I panicked, the colder Rena became.
ねえ、ケイチ君。
At that moment, an uncomfortable chill crept in the gap in the doorway.
お母さん、お家にいるのかな？かな。
I couldn't keep up the charade anymore. Rena, she knew full well that my parents weren't home, but I'd come too far to admit that now. Anyway, my parents were here and we'd be having dinner soon. That was the situation I had concocted. So I answered. I told her she was here.
いるよ、もちろん。
I could feel the humidity dry now from the surrounding air. Rena's eyes were becoming even more frigid, piercing me with their gelid glare. Gelid?
どうして？
Oh my god. This is bad.
何のことかな。
I tried acting casual, but that facade was turned off the instant I looked into Rena's eyes. The look it informed me of Rena's response faster than she could open her mouth.
どうしてさっきから嘘をつくのかな？
It's like the Mion version, or Rena version of Mion's stare. Who did it better? I mean, Rena with a smile is kind of creepy.
嘘なんか。
嘘だよね。
嘘なんかじゃ。
嘘だよ。
There it is. Rena's outburst sent a jolt surging through my body. Rena and I were still separated by what a few inches, that's slightly ajar, but still chained door could afford. But despite that, I was being cornered. My house, which I'd considered a safe haven until now, had become more like a dark alleyway where no one could save me.
ケイチ君のお夕飯当てるよ。ね、
I knew not that Rena had already known that my parents would not be here tonight. I don't think I read that right. But it was still so strange that it had come to this. Even if she somehow knew that my parents weren't home, there's no way she would be able to guess what I'd be eating tonight. But Rena said she'd guess. How could she guess it? How could she know it was instant cup that I was going to eat? Wait, the cooking repertoire of a man who couldn't do housework is probably nothing but cup noodles after all. Looking at this statistically, it was the most probable answer. That didn't mean she was guessing.
ラーメンだけじゃきっとお腹すくと思うな。ご飯とかも一緒の方がきっと腹持ちいいと思うよ。
Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. This was just coincidence. Rena was just reading certain tells of mine, so the fact that she was inferring what I was thinking alarmed me, but it wasn't as if she was actually reading my mind. If it was being read, then she was a demon. No, not a demon. Things like that. They couldn't possibly
好
exist.
きなの？
ラーメンがかよ。
豚骨生姜味。
Tonkatsu Shoga. I don't know what that is. It's like, how many letters? Lion? Not lion. I don't know. Rena indicated that the point my answer was addressing was wrong. Her rebuttal was so short that I momentarily didn't understand the words Rena had spoken.
ごめん、レナ。今、なんて。
Train, you're ruining it.
え？何が？
今さ、何が好きって聞いたんだよ。
Jesus. That's a big one. It wasn't long before I regretted how carelessly I pushed forward with that question. It was such a simple answer. That's why I wasn't able to comprehend it.
豚骨生姜味。
Oh. Oh, yeah. I actually could have probably solved that. I wasn't thinking that. I wondered how I appeared in the moments my mind went completely blank until the moment I was able to recover. As my field of vision began to distort, slowly swirling...
なんでそこまでわかるんだよ!
I ruined it. Sorry. Slowly swirling in a counterclockwise direction, I lost all sense of balance. I didn't even deny it. That was the type of frenzied state I was in. How could Rena know even this? Not even Kieran as I mashed my head against the door. I fixated my gaze on Rena. But she didn't flinch when she saw me do
確
that.
かに勝った。まとめて勝った。俺が箱買いした。それがどうしてわかるんだ。
なんでかな？不思議だね。だね。
Oh, I missed it. Damn it. How could you dodge the question at a time like this? The chain and door were suddenly no longer protecting me.
どうしてわかる？なぜ知ってる？答えろ！
買ったのはセブンスマートだよね。
A shiver ran up my spine. I tried covering it up with an angry
だから
facade.
なんでわかるんだよ！
圭一くんの後ろずっとくっついてたから。
何を言ってんだよ。
I couldn't understand why she was saying she'd been following me all this
だ
time.
からレナが圭一くんの後ろにずっとくっついてたの。
Oh. Late that night? That night I was absorbed in my phone conversation with Ooishi-san. I didn't even sense her being there, standing behind the door, behind me, standing there, just like that.
圭一くんがいろんなラーメン選んでるとこ後ろからずっと見てたの。いろんな種類を選んでたんだよね。それでお母さんに怒られたの。高いラーメンばっかり選ぶから一種類にしなさいって。それで圭一くん大好きな大きいカップの豚骨生姜味を選んだんだよね。レナも好きだよ、豚骨ラーメン。でも大きいカップは全部食べきれないけどね。
My brain was paralyzed, dulling my senses. It might have been a defensive mechanism to diminish the fear I was feeling to non-traumatizing levels. With the fear being diminished, the fog enveloping my mind was cleared away. Then I could understand what Rena was saying and started to put meaning behind her words. Even so, my fear hadn't subsided completely. It was like I was standing at the edge of the cliff, eyes closed so I didn't have to look down. It didn't actually solve any of the basic problems. I slowly took a step backwards, and as I withdrew, Rena advanced.
だからケイチくん、ここを開けて。レナと一緒にご飯食べよう。きっと美味しいから。ね。
Rena's pale, slender fingers squirmed through the crack at the door, one at a time, as if they had a mind of their own, rattling the chain. Okay, I'm into this. I'm actually gonna cut the recording here because it's been an hour, but I think I'm gonna keep reading. So, yeah, see you in like 2 days. Sorry to leave you at this, but again, I don't want to go too much over an hour. So yeah, what will happen? Will Rena get in? Will Kichi just lock her out? We'll see you next time. Okay, we're back. Well, that's a pretty bad cliffhanger. If the chapter ends like in like under 30 minutes, then I'll probably just combine them, but still. Anyway, sorry about that. You know what happened last time. If she had unlatched her chain from the door, a feeling of terror would have exploded within me. But Rena didn't do that. She was simply imploring me to remove the chain. I tried my hardest to light the fuse to the powder keg in my heart, trying again and again. Clatter, clatter. But it doesn't light. It doesn't light.
開けて、ケイチくん。
No.
帰ってくれ。頼むから。帰ってくれ。
どうしてそんな意地悪を言うのかな。かな。
帰ってくれ。帰れよ。帰れ。
The powder keg inside me finally went off. No smoldering, it just exploded. I tackled the door. The force through the door had knocked Rena momentarily off balance. I couldn't hesitate here. Lock it. I grabbed onto the doorknob with both hands, planting my feet firmly, and pulled with all my might. But that slamming sound I desired didn't happen. I could feel a tiny, disturbing bit of resistance keeping the door from closing. The source of that was Rena's fingers. Ah, they broke. Ew. Each of those fingers wriggling, squirming around like the tendrils of a carnivorous plant through the crack in the doorway.
痛いよ、ケイチくん。痛い。
It wasn't a harsh shriek, but more of a yelp. She was trying to keep back. I kept on pulling the door with all my might. I didn't even realize that if I didn't loosen my pull on the door, at least momentarily, Rena wouldn't be able to pull her fingers out, and that was why the door wasn't closing.
本当に痛いの、ケイチくん。悪ふざけが過ぎたなら謝るよ。
I didn't care one bit for her apology. No matter how much she apologized, it didn't change any of what she had done up until now. It didn't change anything.
痛いの。痛いの。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
帰れ。帰れ。帰れ。
Rena couldn't leave, even if she wanted to, because I trapped her fingers. Rena's white fingers had become deep red, and were no longer even squirming.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
帰れ。帰れ。帰れ。
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
Rena's apologies were occasionally twisted with pain, but like a broken record, she was intent on repeating it over and over. Go away, go away, go away, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. I pulled on the door even harder. Finally, Rena's fingers were somehow able to slip out from their imprisonment in the doorway. The moment that happened, the doors closed soundly, and I could hear the thud of Rena falling on her butt on the other side. I locked the door immediately. It made a loud clunk, voicing my rejection to Rena.
ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。ケイチくん、ごめんなさい。ここを開けて、ケイチくん。
Rena leaned against the door, apologizing profoundly and nothing else. After confirming that I was sufficiently sealed off from her, I trudged from the doorway. On the other side, I could still hear Rena echoing her apology. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Those pitiful words, they would be forever seeking my forgiveness. I didn't feel bad about this at all. But that wasn't out of any sort of malice. I just felt a sort of hazy, dense relief that I was able to escape from Rena. Before Mina had threatened me at this doorway, saying there was nothing she didn't know. And just now, at that same place, Rena told me the same thing. My feeble attempts to disguise the fact that my parents weren't home had served no purpose from the start. I should have just pretended to be out and not even opened the door. My meager plans hadn't helped at all. In Hinamizawa, it was impossible to outwit them. Even though I was on the other side of the door, I wanted to get as far away from Rena as possible. One step, 2 steps, with each one, her sniveling apologies became more distant. I sprinted up the stairs and dove into my room. As you would expect, I was finally no longer able to hear Rena repeating her endless apology. Diving into my bed, I was startled by the hard lump I felt. There's something in my bed? It's the phone. It was the receiver. I finally remembered. I was in the middle of a call with Ooishi-san. Looking at the clock, apparently not much time had passed since I went downstairs. Could it be that my clock had run out of batteries? I had talked with Rena for so long. How did almost no time pass? But the hand on the clock was ticking forward 1 second every second as usual. As I was put still warm receiver to my ears, time, which felt frozen, began moving once
もしも
again.
し、大石さん、お待たせしてすみませんでした。
いえいえ、大してお待ちしていませんよ。
It became apparent that the amount of time that had passed between myself and Ooishi-san was different. Over the phone, I could hear an energetic voice from a sports program or something. It drove home just how far away Ooishi-san really was.
今、レナが来ました。
遊びに来たんですか？
I wasn't confident that I could coherently explain the situation to Ooishi-san, but I didn't need to right now. Right now I needed to know about Rena. That's right, I was planning to ask Ooishi-san more about Rena, but Rena's little visit had interrupted the conversation. What was true and what was false? I couldn't tell. The one thing I knew was the single grim reality that Rena was suspicious. I might be able to figure out something if I asked Ooishi-san about her. Up until now, I had regretted it whenever I forced myself to ask about things that I was better off not knowing. But, looking at it that way, you could say that I'd hit rock bottom. There's no possible way I could feel any more regret than I did right now. No, rather, I wanted to know if there was anything beyond this I would regret more. Forget about tomorrow. It wasn't out of the realm of possibility for something to happen tonight. I wanted to know everything I could. I was absolutely not going to die like this. Not without knowing anything. I definitely won't.
竜宮レナさんのことですか？調べましたよ。まあ簡単には。
I understood that Ooishi-san was talking in circles. A bit meant I dug so deep it'd be hard to distrust with you since you're her friend.
その簡単な全てを知りたいんです。
あなたが聞いて面白いような話はありま
大石さん、
I spoke as calmly as possible to Ooishi-san, who was continuing to avoid the issue. And then I said it.
竜宮レナは怪しいと思っています。過去の事件がたとえお社様のたたりによるものだったにせよ、竜宮レナは関わっています。
レナさんが怪しいと思える具体的な証拠があるのですか？
The manner in which Ooishi-san spoke became very firm. Do you have some sort of proof? That was him talking as a detective.
状況証拠だけです。
そうですか。
I could tell that even over the phone how disappointed Ooishi-san was. Pulling on the fishing line when he felt a bite, only to reel in the bait, disappointed but ready to cast the line once more. That's how it seemed.
大石さん、目に見える証拠がなければ動けないんですか？
What I meant was, you can't come and save me without proof. I stuck that barb in there. As Ooishi-san loved roundabout ways of saying things, he understood me just fine.
大丈夫ですよ、前原さん。あなたは私が守ります。
That was not the least bit reassuring. Ooishi-san was just using me to continue his investigation. I was going to get killed, and my corpse would be an important piece of evidence. That was all I was to him.
大石さんの捜査は俺の生死と無関係でしょうが、俺は死ねば終わりなんです。
Ooishi-san went silent on the other end of the line. That may have been too blunt, but I didn't care. All I needed to relay to Ooishi-san was that I was currently in a very dangerous position.
だから話してください。レナのこと。サトシは転校しました。多分俺もそれほど遠くない将来、レナの言う転校をするでしょう。ですが大石さんには俺の死体を見つけることもできないでしょうね。現にサトシの死体だってまだ見つけられてない。
前原さん、どうか落ち着いて。
I was already suppressing my agitation, even without Ooishi-san having to tell me. It wouldn't solve anything if I continued to scream about my mistrust in the police. It would seem that I could only depend on myself and the bat Satoshi left behind to protect myself. Then I at least wanted to know what happened before Rena transferred schools.
つまらない話になるのは覚悟の上ですね。
Ooishi-san, realizing my resolve couldn't be swayed, finally caved.
今の俺にとってつまらない話は何一つありません。お願いします。
まずいくつかお断りすることがあります。
はい。
他言無用でお願いします。また内容には一部憶測も含まれているかもしれません。すべてが真実ではないかもしれないということです。
真実ではないかもしれない。言ってる意味がよくわかりません。
ひなみ沢の連続開始事件は捜査本部がありません。毎年の事件は個々に扱われています。ですから竜宮レナが捜査線に浮上したことは一度もないのです。つまりですね、
レナの調査は警察としてでなく個人として行ったということですか？
ご理解いただけて助かります。話のほとんどは電話、もしくは会って聞かせてもらったものばかりです。ですから裏が取れていません。鵜呑みにしないでほしいということなんです。ご理解いただけますね。
全部聞いた話だけなんですか？
申し訳ないです。個人調査ですのでね。
あれ、以前レナのカルテを見たって言いませんでしたか？確かにそう聞きましたよ。
Ooishi-san paused for a moment at the other end of the line.
そんなことも言いましたかね。気のせいということにしてください。
I didn't care about Ooishi-san having certain obligations and responsibilities. I also didn't care if there's no proof. Even if they were just rumors, there's no smoke without fire after all.
話してください、大石さん。
わかりました。
Ooishi-san finally opened those tight lips of his. It seemed that Rena lived in Hinamizawa a long time ago. She had moved to Ibaraki Prefecture just before starting elementary school. Then, following that, right after transferring, the unfortunate incident with the breaking of the store windows happened. Then Rena confided to the doctor. It was Oyashiro-sama. This was everything I knew.
私が知る話も前原さんと。
では、どこを詳しく調べたんですか？
I didn't need to ask. It was the incident right before she transferred back to
レ
Hinamizawa.
ナが起こした事件とその後の医者での告白ですね。
はい。
大石さんはその内容を知っているからこそレナたちを疑っているんですね。
疑っています。
やはりレナたちが犯人。
ああ、いえ、疑うとはそういう意味ではないんです。
Ooishi Hen was the type of person to say things with confidence, but these particular words were less than
じ
reassuring.
ゃあ何を疑ってるんですか？
お社様ですよ。
え？
お社様のたたりって本当にあるのかななんてまあ。
Ooishi Hen's laugh was quite dry, certainly not the kind that would make you want to join in. Ooishi Hen resumed the conversation about the dubious circumstances behind Satoshi's disappearance, the course of events leading him to delve into Rena's past. Just then, there was thunder in the distance and a heavy rain started pouring down. It came without warning, a downpour fiercely beating the ground. I had left the window in my room open a crack to let the heat out. The violent wind danced in my room, making the curtains flap wildly.
あ、いえ、急にすごい雨が。すみません。どうぞ続けてください。
I got up, was still on the phone, and grasped the
はじ
window.
めに事件と申し上げましたが、学校側も被害者も告発していないので、正式には事件ではないのです。でですね、この辺りがどうも関係者皆さん口が重いんですよ。被害者の一人は片目に後遺症を残すぐらい殴られているのにもかかわらずです。学校側か、もしくは表沙汰になるのを望まない何者かが、またカウンセリングを担当した神経科医も。もしもし、前原さん、聞こえてます？
There was a figure of a person standing by the light near the mailbox this whole time. Even in this torrential rain, they didn't have an umbrella. They were unquestionably drenched from head to toe. In this shower, which more resembled a waterfall, droplets of water dripped down from her hair. Just standing there, both arms dangling at her side. Oh, and you can see the bloody fingers. In one hand was a stack of boxes wrapped in cloth. Her eyes focused on my room, focused on me as I was about to close the window. Her mouth was methodically repeating a chewing motion. It was as if she had heard something hard to chew in her mouth. As if she had something hard to chew in her mouth, with her cheeks puffing out. What could she be eating over there? How could it be at this time I was more enthralled by Rena instead of the shocking developments being brought to light by Ooishi-san? If it hadn't started raining, I wouldn't have gone to the window. Then I wouldn't have noticed Rena, nor would I have noticed that. Rena's mouth was moving in the same pattern. She wasn't eating something, she was repeating something. What was it? Was she repeating to me? What was she saying? And why was I right against the window, fixated on her?
もしもし、前原さん、聞こえてますか？もしもーし。
ごめんなさい。
え、前原さん？
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
もしもし、前原さん、どうしましたか？
Even in this torrential downpour, Rena was still apologizing. The other self inside me drew the curtain hastily with my right hand, blocking my view of the outside. But even doing that, Rena's relentless apology still reached my ears. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. If I forgive you for this, will you forgive me for that? Please stop, please stop, please stop, please stop. I'm sorry, 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 I'm sorry. Damn it, why should I have to forgive her? I'm the one who wants to be forgiven. What part of me can't you forgive? I won't be killed. If you won't forgive me, then I won't forgive you either. I won't forgive, 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 won't forgive.
前原さん、
I won't forgive.
聞こえてるなら返事をしてください。もしもーし。
Oh my god. This chapter break? I might just end the video and combine it, because that's a really shitty way to end the first video. Yeah, okay. How about we end it now, so I don't have to make 2 videos, because I am getting kind of tired. It was just getting long, so I'll just combine these 2 videos. We'll do tips next time. I just want to say a couple of theories. I guess I was kind of saving my this theory for the theory video, but I can just go more in depth in it when we reach that video. I actually don't trust Ooishi-san as much as I used to. I used to think it was 100% trustworthy. But there are some points, when we first started the conversation without... this freaking rain's so annoying. I gotta save. No, it doesn't leave. Tips, maybe? Okay, let's get rid of the rain for now. When we first talked to him before Rena appeared at the door, it really felt like he was... I don't know how I should explain this. Because I don't know if he's he's suspicious. To me, it felt like when he was asking, do you have proof? It felt more like he was asking because he wanted... I don't know how to say it. It's so confusing. I'm trying to explain. So Teichi thinks he was asking for physical proof, so he could have proof to arrest him. I think he was asking for physical proof just in case that Rena or Mion left physical proof so he could keep it for himself. Like, I think he has... I don't know if he's involved with the town, but I think there's something, like something with them, right? Like, he wants to make sure that Mion and Rena didn't do something that would leave proof to damn the town, if that makes any sense. That's how his questioning felt before. And like the conversation after when we were asking him about Rena also seemed really suspicious too. I don't know, Ooishi-sen's just... he was kind of losing my trust. Also, last episode, with the hint with the suspicious thing with Rena and Mion talking, they did say that Ooishi-san met Satoshi, so he should know what happened to Satoshi, and he's not talking... Obviously, Teichi doesn't know this, but he didn't mention it at all when we were talking about Satoshi. So I think there's a lot that Ooishi-san's leaving out from us. I did fully trust Ooishi-san for a long while, but it would also make sense if he was somehow conspiring, that's why they knew Teichi was talking with him. Because they would need someone to follow Teichi. And obviously, Rena was confirmed for following him once, but it could be multiple people. I don't know. My voice is dead. I'll just combine this episode and you get an extra long one, so that's good. Just so it makes up for my sick readings, which probably weren't fun to listen to. But yeah, that was exciting. Next time we'll do tips. Then I gotta think about it more. But Ooishi-san theory is kind of on the table. I feel like we'll get more confirmation, but he's slowly getting more evil, and that's the phone ringing. Good time to leave. So I hope you have a good day, and thanks for watching this long video. Bye!